Right, so we have a new season in Disney Speedstorm, and I'm gonna give my first impressions. Um, everything that's new. Uh, but we'll start off with because I want this video to be more positive than negative, and my feelings towards what's new this season are more positive than negative. Because I think personally will change. I don't have any of the new seasonal characters unlocked yet. But we'll go over what I don't like, and that's basically just what I haven't liked in every other season, every previous season since pretty much since Wreck-It Ralph. And that's just how the season tour works. And that's pretty much going to be my only complaint, is that it hasn't fixed the season tour. And I'm going to stop harping on about the season tour now, because it's never going to change. You know, there's so many things they can do with the season tour to make it better, but they're not going to. Gameloft has kind of like... They haven't shied away from the fact. In fact, they've become more brazen with how much they want your money. And it's just, I'm wasting my time going on over and over about it every single video. So I'm going to be a lot happier. I'm going to get a lot more enjoyment out of the game if I just focus on the things that I do like. And thankfully this season, there is plenty to like. I'm just going to open our boxes and we're going to talk over opening the boxes. So first thing that I really like, new track. New track this season. I don't know what's going on next season yet. But according to like leaks and things that people have seen in the files, it leads me to side on being cautiously optimistic. I want to be cautiously optimistic about next season, but next season hasn't happened yet. Yeah, next season hasn't happened yet, so I'm not going to talk about what's happening next season until next season starts. This season, though, has a new track, which is really good, and it has 3 new characters, which are all really good, and the mid-month characters are exciting. I would have preferred not to know who they were until the game, until they were released, or until we saw their names appear in game. If you're interested, if you don't know who the mid-month characters are going to be, and it's going to lead to a video that I do at the I'm going to be filming it after this one, but it's probably gonna show up in like a couple days for you guys. But we've got Fuzzy Bear. There's a Trickster. Didn't see that coming, but he's going to be like on the heavier side of Trickster. I thought he was going to be Defender or Brawler, just because he's like bigger. But Trickster kind of makes sense because the whole thing about Fozzie Bear is that he's like a stand-up comedian, so it kind of makes sense to me that he's Trickster. And then Scrooge McDuck, we've got who's a Defender. That makes sense to me. I'll tell you why it makes sense to me. It's because he looks after the kids. He looks after Huey, Dewey, and Louie. how good a job he does at looking after Huey, Dewey, and Louie, you know, that's down to you guys. That's down to the viewer. But yeah, he's technically the guardian of Huey, Dewey, and Louie, and the woman, whoever the woman is. But yeah, we're going to jump into showing off the... We're going to jump into showing off the Alice in Wonderland characters that we can show off. Because Mad Hatter's going to be... I was under the impression that Mad Hatter was going to be the seasonal character. Nope. It's Queen of Hearts. Or Mad Hatter was going to be the free character this season. Nope. Queen of Hearts. And I think that's great. Because this season, at least from what I've seen, we haven't seen any of Mad Hatter yet. But from what I've seen, the two characters that are available, both seem very good. Both seem like they're going to be very good in the meta. Alice is the character that's got a passive. Her passive just basically means she can grind on rails. And while she's grinding on rails, she's actually getting more of a speed boost than other characters normally would. Which doesn't really make sense to me, like from a character perspective. Every other character's passive has kind of made sense and been like thematically appropriate. Like you got Rapunzel who hits people with a frying pan. Barbossa who's invincible for half of the track time. But being faster on grind rails doesn't make sense to me. Like, what does that have to do with Alice? When does she do anything that would imply that in the film? But no, I think both characters, Alice and Queen of Hearts, are going to be fairly... They're going to make an impact in the meta, and they're going to be... I think both are going to be a menace in multiplayer.
As it should be. Very well then.
And Queen of Hearts seems to me like she should be premium, but she's the free character this season.
Get to the part where I lose my temper.
Like, her skills seem more exciting, in my opinion. Because Alice is basically just Hercules. And Hercules is good. And Alice might be better because she can make more use of Hercules' unique skill. Or the type of skill that Hercules has. She can make more use out of it. But Queen of Hearts has a unique skill like that is nothing like anything that we before.
Curtsy.
That, and she's just a brawler, so she's gonna have more. As a heavy brawler, she's already, you know, got an advantage over the rest of the roster. And it's been a while since we've had a free brawler. I don't know. I'm just used to. I'm just used to the free seasonal characters being the definitive worst. And now being given one that's, if she is the worst of the Alice in Wonderland characters, the Alice in Wonderland characters are really good. If she's the worst, really they should have given Queen of Hearts a passive where she only shows up in the last 2 seconds of the race, because that's what she does in the film. She only shows up in the last 2 seconds. Should have given that passive to Oogie Boogie as well. It doesn't matter. We've already got everything from here. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I hope that shows off like these new characters, Queen of Hearts and Alice, already seem like they're gonna be making a big splash, like in terms of like ranked multiplayer, in terms of just getting through content. Like I would prefer new characters to be easier to get, but if this is the caliber of new characters that we get going forward, like if the Winnie the Pooh characters come in and they're this good or better, like visually, but also like just usefulness wise, if they're this good or better, happy days. You know, ideally a track comes with next season as well. But you know, and looking at the track this season, it's a whole lot of fun. Honestly, it's thematically appropriate. I don't feel like we're matching. This is the closest I think we've gotten to a Mario Kart track, but I don't think we're quite matching that quality yet. And I would really like a track to come into the game where I can definitively say this is on par with some of the best tracks in Mario Kart. To be honest, I'm still waiting for this game's answer to Rainbow Road. To be honest, because we don't really have that. Arby's Arena kind of, because there is a possibility of going off the sides and that. But I'm just waiting for a really crazy, like, difficult track. Like an insanely, like, crazy track. Personally, I think that could come with, like, I think that if they ever put mid-season characters, if they ever give mid-season characters tracks, I think that's probably going to come with Wally. But yeah, that's kind of where I see that happening. But yeah, I can't really say that I have much in the way of faults this season. I've already talked about like the Tails. Tails, I don't think are like when the next one comes out, I don't think they're a big deal. These, I don't think are a big deal either. I like these, personally. It gives me a reason and an excuse to go into multiplayer with characters that I normally wouldn't. You know, it's giving me an excuse to build out my roster, and it's actively benefiting the way I play, which is building wide, not high. Or building high, not wide. And this is kind of doing the same, where it's like ranking up. You get benefits for like ranking up specific characters. It's not just like playing. It's actively like ranking up the characters. Yes, if you have the characters it's asking for ranked up, then you're not going to get as many rewards, or you're going to struggle more. However, if you've already got characters like all the way in multiplayer, you don't need these. This is for new players or players like me that haven't invested everything into every character in their roster. And the rewards are good. So yeah, can't really complain. The Star Chasers, I like how Star Chasers are, because you're just doing them passively now, instead of having to devote time to a Star Chaser for minimal rewards. Now you're getting a huge amount of rewards, and you're getting basically enough shards to max out a character for, you know, just doing multiplayer as you normally would. So yeah, I think that's a really good change. Feel free to educate me on why that's bad in the comments, on why these new events are bad in the comments. But I feel like the only people that are complaining about these new events are people that have maxed out, built out characters in the first place. And if you have a maxed out, built out character, or maxed out, built out characters, more power to you. But these events aren't for you. These events are for people trying to catch up. These events are for new players. These events are for free-to-play players. So I'm glad that free-to-play players are getting something, and we're getting things that we can actually play, that we don't need the newest, shiniest characters for. And I think these are good. And if they're not for you, then you can, if you've already got all your characters maxed out and built out, that's what supercharging's for. That's what the supercharged racer boost is for. You know? That's what the new characters this season are for. That's what the season pass is for. You know? And, you know, Tails, I don't like how Tails are set up, and there hasn't been one this season, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. But these being daily, and essentially these being daily, and, you know, you not being able to do a previous day's tail, not being able to, like, repeat them or go back and do a previous day is really bad, in my opinion. But I've also never shied away from the fact that I'm not 100% interested in getting the shiniest new characters. it is a bad way of doing it. Do I think it's necessarily worse or a step backwards than the way that they were doing it before? Not necessarily. It doesn't... I'm technically getting more shards now for characters than for the mid-month characters than I was previously with the way that it was set up previously. The way that it was set up previously was actively benefiting pay-to-play players 100%. Now, at least free-to-play has a chance. At least free-to-play has a chance. Not a great chance, but they have a chance of getting that character, if not the first time around. At least they get a solid chunk instead of just 1 or 2 shards. At least they get a solid chunk. Anyways, that's going to do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments below what you think of Disney Speedstorm Season 15. Can you believe that we're 15 seasons into this game? Can you believe that this game has nearly been going for 3 years now? Next April, that will be this game's 3rd year anniversary. That's mad. I do have a video plan that's going to come out in the next couple of days, probably. That should be exciting, and is, you know, something that a lot of people have been questioning since the launch of the game, pretty much. But until then, I will see you guys in the next one. Hopefully you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments below. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.